Hello, this is Dr. Clint May, and we're going to talk about the Ezekiel Principle, 5 important steps to disciple children. And this is one of my most favorite passages of Scripture. Before we get started, let's look at some challenges we face today in the church, really looking at how we disciple children. If you look from birth to 18 years of age, we know that the spiritual foundation is pretty well set by age 13. What a child believes at that time in their life is pretty much what they're going to die believing, according to Barna. We also know that the moral foundation of a child is set between 10 to 13 years of age, which we call the 10-13 window, according to Nelson. And so one of the challenges we look at is what happens in our churches right now today, in the majority of our churches, I would say. This red line represents sitting and listening while someone teaches us about Christ, but really not engaging us fully in the church. And so part of that challenge, research is pretty solid that only about 10% are true followers of Christ. 40% of the church are apathetic believers who are recipients of ministry. And it's kind of the 20-80 rule. 20% do all the ministry while 80% receive. And also the sad fact that about 50% of students who enter college will leave the faith for good. So let's look at the Ezekiel Principle. Ezekiel 47, 1 through 5, and I'm going to paraphrase this because of time, but Ezekiel has a vision, and he's standing there looking at the temple of God, and out of the temple is flowing water, out of the right side, he says. And he's standing there on the bank, and an angel appears to him, and he measures out 1,000 cubits, and the water goes ankle deep. So we're on the bank. It measures out 1,000 cubits, it's ankle deep. Another 1,000 he measures and it's knee deep. Another 1,000 cubits and it's waist deep. And another 1,000, it's so deep that he has to swim. And this is just a beautiful passage. I encourage you to go back and read that for yourself. As I read this passage of Scripture years ago, I began to see a parallel to discipleship. And so on the bank, I do you watch. It's pretty much happens with the majority of the children in our churches today. That's our challenge. But in the Ezekiel Principle, and when we want to disciple children, we want to take them incrementally steps towards a deeper walk with Christ and deepening their faith with Him. So the next step is, I do, you help me. And so as a teacher, discipler, you figure out ways that you can engage kids in your group. The next level is you do, and I help you. And so if you're a teacher, hey, I want you to teach part of the lessons next week. I want you to lead our prayer time. I want you to teach a memory verse. However way you can allow them to take leadership roles in your small group or children's church or wherever it is great, all right? The next level is waist deep. You do, and I watch you, okay? And so you're gradually, incrementally moving back and giving them more and more responsibilities, just like Paul did with Timothy. And the ultimate goal is we want kids to swim. You do. I've been on 36 mission trips with preteens, with over 3,700 preteens. And our goal when they're on the mission trip is they're doing everything. And we step back and watch and observe how God moves in through their lives in a powerful way. So the way we break from our challenges in the church today is we apply the Ezekiel Principle. I do, you watch. I do, you help. You do, I help. You do, I watch. You do. We want to have them in the depths with God and swimming with Him. Well, God bless you. We'll see you next time on A Minute with Dr. Clint May.